Well, good evening, folks. Welcome to the Lowdown. My name's Peter.
My name's Hazel, and we are coming to you from Northumberland Live. That's going on in the background. But while we were at this event, we found out some fantastic history, didn't we, Peter?
That's right. The concert's in full swing, but we looked over and we saw Blyth Battery. Now, this takes you back to the First and Second World War, so we thought in this show we'd have a little look around it. Also in tonight's show, we've got Wine and Dine, and my lady, you do some yoga.
Do I?
Yes, there's an interesting one. But I think I'm going to go find a man who knows all about this. And you, dear lady, I'm going to send you back in time and you can sit down and enjoy life in 1940s Blyth.
Ooh, I hope the kettle's on.
Ooh.
He was a famous trumpet man from out Chicago way. He had a boogie style that no one else could play. He was the top man at his craft. But then his number came up and he was gone with the draft. He's in the army now, a blowing reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B.
Now I'm here with Colin, who's the chair of Blyth Battery Volunteers. Colin, you look resplendent in this outfit.
Thank you.
What uniform are you wearing?
I'm portraying a First World War machine gun officer who would have occupied an underground bunker that we built.
So this battery, tell me about it, because I didn't know it existed. I've passed it a few times. I just thought they were buildings, but they have much more importance.
Yes, it was built in the First World War, reoccupied in the Second World War, and it was to defend the port of Blyth. In the First World War, Blyth was quite an important port. We had a submarine base here. We had a big shipyard here. We built the first Ark Royal aircraft carrier. And because of the abundance of coal, the Royal Navy used to come here to refuel their ships. And again, in the Second World War, pretty much the same. We had submarine bases. Quite a few notable ships and commanders. We had one ship took part in Operation Mincemeat.
Right.
They made a film of that, The Man That Never Was, and the Cockleshell Heroes, HMS Tuna, again based here at Blyth. So quite a lot of important things went on from here.
Because this was a busy bit of seafront, wasn't it? There would have been lots of ships going up and down, so it was an important place to protect.
A very important port to defend, and that's why the battery was built. There's history going back to Napoleonic times, even further. 1757 is the earliest map that we have, with a proposal for 4 other batteries. But at the time, Seaton Sluice was a much bigger harbour than Blyth was, and there's quite a lot of interesting things went on in Blyth. We formed the 3rd Blyth and Coopan Artillery Volunteers. They only lasted for 4 years because they all wanted to be officers. They didn't, and
A better life.
Lots and lots of good tales to be told from here about Blyth.
Now, when you look out there, you've got a luxury boat, you've got people water skiing, but 70 years ago, there would have been a big gun here.
There was
out over there. What kind of artillery was here?
There was 2 6-inch Mark 7s in here, which could basically hit anything they could see.
So how far could that have shot? Literally, are we talking over the horizon?
To the horizon, yeah. Yeah, fantastic range. And they were never fired in anger, but they did fire training rounds and what they call a bringing to round.
Right.
We have a copy of the Second World War 4 record books, and every now and again bringing to round fired, which means that a ship failed to identify themselves before sailing into port, and they fired a shot across the bows. But it doesn't identify the ships, unfortunately. I've got a one for Workington, and they show the name of the ship they fired on, but Blyth doesn't.
Some pretty scared sailors would have been.
Oh yes, there's tales of people. The lighthouse keeper was seen going along the lighthouse, to the pier to the lighthouse, and they thought it was someone trying to get in, so they opened fire on him. The small arms fire. Lots and lots of tales that we get down here.
Lots to say. I think we should go indoors now and take a look at some of the artifacts that you have.
Yeah, yep.
You before his Uncle Sam. It really brought him down because he could not jam. The captain seemed to understand, because the next year the cap went out and drafted the band, and now the company jumps when he was.
Wow! So, Colin, where are we now?
Well, this is the jewel in the crown for Blyth. It's the only surviving example of a rotating cupola World War I rangefinder tower in the world.
It sounds impressive. What does it do?
Well, the whole top of this would have rotated, and from the two doors would have been a 9-foot bar and Stroud split image rangefinder.
God.
And that's what they would have used to look for any enemy ships and calculate the range out to the ships. Once they've done that, the information could have been passed across to the gun crews.
So even in World War I, we were expecting some kind of invasion coming over or some kind of attack. It was that important, Blyth.
They came as far as Hartlepool, Scarborough, Whitby, but they never came this far up. But we were prepared for them. Yep.
And this is the only surviving one in the world.
Yes, as far as I can find, this is the only one that exists.
See, it's astonishing, isn't it? You just pass it, you think it's an old building.
People think it's a water tower.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for many years it was used as a beach chalet. And people speculated what the hooks were for. And I always jokingly said it was for a garden swing. Lo and behold, a lady came in one day and said this was my chalet when I was a child. And I asked her what the hooks were for, and she said, well, for the garden swing, of course.
Very silly.
Silly, yeah.
I bet the Germans would have panicked knowing that we had a swing. Well, I think from the First World War, let's go over to the Second World War. So we've come from First World War.
Yep.
Where are we now?
We're in the Second World War battery observation post.
So in here, they would have looked out there to see enemy ships.
They would have been
and
looking
then
out.
They would have relayed it
Yep,
over
exactly the same as the First World War. They would have looked for enemy ships. When they identified them, passed the information across to the gun, who could have then laid on fire.
Now, Hazel's about the building. I think she's found a 1940s house to look at.
Somebody you might recognise from the telly already is Mr. Tony Hodge here, who played Jill Halfpenny's dad in Biker Grove for 5 whole years, didn't you?
I did, Alan Dobson.
Alan Dobson, and look, you're still in a costume now.
Some things never change.
But we are in a recreation, aren't we, in here?
Of a 1940s house.
Yeah.
A house is the way it would be through the war. Notice there's tape on the windows here, but I think probably more of interest is these two little books which are here to look at. This one's an identity card. Now, everyone had to carry an identity card, and if it had a little number on the top here, which if you're a German spy, you might not realise that this number could be tracked by the police. Now, that was a great giveaway. And that's a very valuable piece of kit. This, on the other hand...
So they'd get caught out, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. This, on the other hand, is a ration book. Now, everybody through the war had a ration book. And inside, you got a little stamp or a tick, and you were allowed then a small amount of food per adult per week.
A small amount.
1 egg.
Oh, no.
1 piece of cheese, 1 piece of butter. Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't do for you.
No, definitely not for me. I like a good munch. I couldn't have a takeaway like that, could I?
Well, you wouldn't take it away, that's definite. The worst thing is, though, you see, there's also a huge fine. If you try to cheat on your ration book, it was £20. Now, I know that doesn't sound much today, but £20 could be 20 weeks' wages.
That's amazing,
it's
isn't
a
it?
phenomenal amount of money.
It's a wonder how people actually survived.
Well, you see, you always hear about the war, about people being away, but there's an awful lot of people lived here and had to go through the war in little towns like Blyth.
Yeah.
One thing I would like to show you, if you've got 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Over here, we've got 2 irons. Now, this particular one is one that everybody would know. It's one that they're just heated by the fire. So not electric, nothing like that. You heated it by the fire and you did your ironing. Mm-hmm. But as time went on and the war went on, things got dead posh.
Dead posh?
Dead posh. We've got a gas iron.
Oh, hey, you must have had to be rich to have one of them.
A gas iron, I know. And one thing I think you'll really love.
Yes?
Your dress for the night.
Oh, me dress for the night out.
1940s
Down the bingo?
dress.
Did they have bingo in them times?
Well, they probably did.
Now, take me outside to see the cars.
I will. Put these back.
Tony, when I said take us to the cars, I was expecting a limo. Not anything like this. What kind of car is this?
Well, it's not really a car. What it actually is a World War II Jeep, which is a general purpose vehicle for the American Army.
And you yourself have restored this, haven't you?
Yes, I've done everything from a total wreck, which I bought in Wales, right up to this now. It took 4 years to do, and to be totally honest, I haven't done a mass over the last few years, but you know, Biker Grove and various other things took precedence. Also, this thing above us, this gun, I made that myself as well.
So does it go? Does it drive?
I drove it here. Yeah.
And what about the gun?
The gun doesn't fire.
Good, we're in safe hands then.
I can get chips very easily though.
Especially around here, there's loads of fish and chip shops around Blyth.
There is indeed. It's a very, very good town, this, to come for a walk along the beach or onto the promenade, see the battery, or even the fish and chip shop over the road. Fabulous place to come.
But you don't go for the big shop on a weekend, innit, no?
Definitely don't go for a big... In fact, it doesn't come out of the... We bought a garage on our house in the 1970s. My wife was going to put a car in it, and this has been in there ever since. So no, I think she would like me to take it to the shops.
So Colin, it's an absolutely fantastic day out, really. You could spend the whole day, especially with the beach. How do people get involved?
Well, a lot of people volunteer and try to get involved with all different things. Major Rod, who runs this place, who was an ex-army officer himself, and he put together this display. We have people who just come and work in the cafe. We have people that bake cakes. I do a lot of talks for women's institutes, and I make a lot of the displays. So people who do anything are more than welcome to come along and volunteer.
Volunteers, folks, or just
volunteers.
Come out for the day.
Yep.
And it's a charitable trust. So pop some money in the buckets because it's worth saying. This is of world importance, and it's in Blyth. Well, there you go, Hazel. What do you think?
Well, it was fascinating, although I found out they didn't have a kettle and you only get 1 egg a week on them rations.
Well, I feel like an egg at the moment. I'm boiled at the moment. It's absolutely gorgeous here, folks. So while we go and apply some sunscreen, join us in a few minutes where we've got wine and dine and you go all zen with yoga. Ooh, praying mantas. Ooh. Hazel, you were very good in that, weren't you?
I know, I'm getting really good at it, Peter.
I know, you could touch your toes and everything. Well, the concert's still going on behind us, so we're going to go and have a little look at that. And we've come to the end of the show, folks. Join us again tomorrow. It's another jam-packed Lowdown, and it's only at 7 p.m, Hazel. And it's only on
The Lowdown.